What's up, guys? Michael here. So I just got back from the gym. It is 6 a.m. I'm normally actually at work at 6 a.m. if there's a car to detail early, but today there isn't, so I thought I'd make a little bit of video. I have not made content in quite a long time, especially during the long weekend. I was in BC. I'll probably talk about that in my newest Fitness for XP podcast episode. I wish I will be recording. I should have enough time before work actually to record it this morning, so I'll probably bust that out quickly. But I thought I'd make this quick video just because normally I have a protein smoothie after work, or not after work, after my workout, and I thought I would share it with you guys. Just a quick, easy smoothie that is great just for either bulking purposes to increase your your calorie intake, or an easy way to just have a nice snack and get some protein in, or even if not, smoothies in general are a really good way to maintain your calories and without having to actually eat quite a bit of food, or increase your calorie intake without having to eat a lot of food. Because that's one of my main problems is I do want to bulk up a little bit. I do want to increase my calorie intake, but I'm not one who can eat like big meals or a lot of meals. So smoothies are a really great way to just ingest calories, essentially, but also because you're just using fruit, oats and stuff like that. It's pretty simple and also really healthy. So using things like blueberries, for example, have a good source of antioxidants, fiber, that kind of thing. Same with using oats for fiber, things like that. So I am going to make a smoothie for you guys. It's going to be very simple. I'm not going to go into the nitty-gritty because I think for the majority of people, you don't really need to know sort of the macros and stuff like that. But obviously, if you are tracking your calories and tracking your macros, that's something that's important. But I'll explain, it's pretty easy to track your macros essentially. Since everything that you purchase usually will have the nutritional information on the back. So you can just look there, measure everything out that way. I normally don't really measure everything out. I'm not sort of like super specific on numbers and stuff like that. And that just depends on your goals. Like my goal isn't like a competition, or I don't have to hit a weight class or anything like that. So I do want to make sure I'm hitting my protein goals, but everything else is more just sort of intuitive eyeballing, that kind of thing, just because I don't really like to stress about that kind of stuff. If I do have more specific goals down the road, then I will start shifting, obviously, actually start tracking a little more specifically. But as of now, I think I'm just going to be doing pretty basic stuff. So yeah. So this is my blender. I'm not actually sure the exact model on this Ninja, but Ninja is a really reputable brand. Really like it. This is the one with the marketing auto IQ thing. Just automatically changes the speed of the blender depending on what kind of drink you want. But it's great for, you can actually make crushed ice, and you can actually make like snow cones and stuff. But it's also great just because you can throw frozen fruit in there and stuff like that, and ice, and not have to worry about the blades breaking or just the whole blender blowing up. So this one, yeah, I believe it ran me about 150 bucks, 100% worth it. I'm really only using it for smoothies, but it's nice to know I can use it for a bunch of other things. But anyways, let's get exactly what we need. So you can pretty much make this however you want. Obviously, if you want to adjust what you have in there just for taste purposes, or for nutrition purposes. I always have strawberries as sort of one of my main components, and then blueberries, because blueberries is a good source of antioxidant and fiber. I sometimes switch it up. Sometimes it's like sort of a peach mango blend of frozen fruit, as well as there's a 4-berry blend with like raspberries, blackberries, a bunch of other stuff. And again, I'm really just looking for taste variety rather than just actually focusing on the micro and macronutrients. But again, depends on your needs. So this is my protein powder. I don't know if you've watched my Twitter, you'll know. I really recommend these guys. My Protein is the company. I'm one of the top brands in terms of supplements and protein powder and creatine and stuff like that. I got my creatine from them as well. It's just top of the list, I guess. If you go to a website called Labdoor, Labdoor is actually really nice because it's a third-party company that they actually test supplements. They test supplements, they test protein powder, other things, creatine, and they make sure that what's listed on the bag or box is actually what's going into the product, as well as list, how potentially harmful the ingredients are, things like that. And my protein is about, I haven't checked it in a while. It fluctuates depending on sort of what comes out. but they're top three definitely, from what I've seen. And I really like it. But definitely do your research. I would definitely highly recommend, if you are looking at getting protein powder or something like that, check out Labdoor. I found my protein to be sort of the best one, but again, that sort of fluctuates, and companies change their formula and stuff like that sometimes, but that's pretty much the basis for that. So one last ingredient, actually a couple ingredients. Pretty straightforward. Just whole oats. Nothing too crazy about that. But yeah, this is the thing to sort of help you track your nutritional information. And it just makes it really easy, especially when you're making smoothies. As these nutritional facts, obviously, it shows per half cup or per certain amount. And then it just, for each of that amount, there's like 150 calories per half cup. There's 4 grams of fiber per half cup, 5 grams of protein per half cup. And you can throw, again, you can adjust this as much as you want. Very basic math skills required to actually track your calories and macros and stuff like that. So, other than that, there's one more. I actually do have them. There's a banana. Very, 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 very easy. But I'm not gonna measure this all out. I'll show you guys sort of just what I put in there, and we can go from there. All right, so first is, depending on if you care if the oats are sort of a little chunkier, I guess is the best way to put it. What you can do is you can measure your oats out. Oats is really the only thing I measure, just because it's a little bit easier just to scoop it out with sort of a half cup serving or a full cup. So I'll grab a measuring cup, and there's a half cup. So what you can do is, if you don't want it to be pretty chunky for the oats, you can actually grind them up beforehand. Also, that's another thing. If you have a lot of family or kids around the house, and you're doing this early in the morning like I am, be warned, this blender is very, very loud. Very loud. Quite loud. Alright, after that, first thing I add is banana. I actually sort of just piece it, just so it's not one full banana chunked in there. And in terms of, if you are actually tracking your macro and micronutrients, and you are curious as to, because this doesn't have nutritional information written on the back of it, obviously, what you can do, I highly recommend the FitnessPal app, MyFitnessPal. On your phone, it's really, really useful because you're able to just type in the name or brand of something. For example, these are Chiquita bananas, so I would just type that in, and it'll have the nutritional information listed there. And you can also just scan barcodes, and it automatically puts in all the macronutrients and calories and all that good stuff. So it's a very, very useful app. Highly recommend. All right, next up is the protein powder, and protein powder will typically come with its own scoop. Makes it easy to track that. Because like I said, tracking my protein is sort of one of my main things, but everything else is all good. And time for the frozen fruit. And then one last ingredient, actually I totally forgot, is milk afterwards. Another good source of protein, mainly of the casein variety. So you can use whole milk, you can use whatever kind of milk you desire. I'm using 2% partly skimmed. And milk is another sort of thing that I do measure out. Ooh, here's my phone. Slipping. Alright, so I normally go about 1 2/3 cup. And then I fill up to 2 cups with just a little bit of water. Makes the smoothie a little better. In my opinion, again, you just sort of adjust ingredients and everything like that just to your desire. And thankfully there is a smoothie button on this. So this is my blender bottle, and I highly recommend blender bottles extremely awesome, well-made bottles, and they come with sort of that, it's a little bit gimmicky, they come with that little metal ball that it's good to break up powders and stuff like that when you shake it. With a smoothie this thick, you really don't have to, especially if you have a blender. But if you are just mixing something with more liquid type things, or if you're just mixing your protein powder with like water or milk or something, and you just want to break up the chunks of protein powder, blender bottles are really, really good for that. And this is the big, massive one. So this one is 42 ounces, I think. Crazy huge, but because I don't even know what I'm putting. Why am I putting on the lid? Crazy huge, but is really, really useful for quite a bit of smoothie. And usually when I eyeball it, I usually end up with probably just about the perfect amount. From what it looks like right now, I think I might have made a little too much. But the nice thing about these Ninjas is you can just unattach this and it can stay in the fridge or whatever, save some for later, all that good stuff. Oh yeah, I think I'll have a little extra. Not bad though. There probably is not even a cup, not even half a cup left, but as you can see, pretty much the perfect amount. And that's usually what I end up with. Of course, I have to fail this time, first time showing you guys. But normally, I'm pretty on point with eyeballing it like that. And yeah, it's smooth enough where you can just drink it. You don't have to use a straw. You don't have to use a spoon. Just make sure you're getting sliced fruit, or at least smaller frozen fruit. I found when I actually got like full whole frozen strawberries, it ended up being a little too thick. You may just have to blend it a little more in that case, but go with a sliced strawberries if you are going with strawberries. And again, just make sure to piece up everything as best as you can, just to make sure it's not super, super thick. Otherwise, there have been times when I was, first making smoothies, I actually did have to, eat my first couple of smoothies with a spoon. Additionally, make sure it is frozen fruit, because if you get just regular fruit, it will be warm, and no one likes a warm smoothie. And adding ice in along the way doesn't really help too much. It's easiest just to get frozen fruit and you'll be good to go. But that's the smoothie. Pretty straightforward. And yeah, that's the video. Bye.